Hi everyone, how are we all? I am Himanshu Kishnani, an education consultant working at Aussizz Group, the Collins branch. And before we start today's live session, I would first like to basically introduce our participants who have joined in here for this live session. We have Mr. Shekhar Gupta and Mr. Mayur. Guys, would you like to introduce yourself before we start the live session today?
Why not, Himanshu? Definitely, and thank you so much for first of all, just having us here in the interview. Hi guys, my name is Shekhar Gupta, and I'm a QAC certified education agent and working in the Collins branch with Himanshu Kishnani, and we have another friend today as well with us is Mayur, and definitely, Mayur, why not you just introduce yourself?
Thank you, Shekhar. Thank you, Manshu. It's glad to be part of this session today. Hello, everyone. My name is Mayur. I'm also a QAC certified 936 education consultant at Collins Street branch, along with my fellow mates. And over to you, Himanshu. I guess let's start.
Sure. So before we kick off today's session, I would just like to tell you a bit about the session today. So today's session is not a usual session where we're trying to give you the information about several courses or the colleges. It's a lot based on a specific sort of people, whose first of all whose visas are expiring. So say if your 485 is expiring, 485 is the visa. Just for the viewers who don't know what 485 is, 485 is a post-study work visa. So when you study a 2 years undergrad or a higher grad or maybe a trade course, so once you study 2 years course in Australia, you get a post-study work visa, which is called 485 visa. So once that 485 is expiring, a lot of people think that is it the end for me to study here in Australia, or like do I have an option of going back to studies again? The answer is yes. You have an option of going back to studies again. There's no stopping for you to study. Of course, if you've studied something, if you think that there's something which can back you when it comes to moving forward in your career, so of course you can study and go forward with it. So this is what the session is all about. We will be studying the courses, focusing on a specific set of students from specific specializations, that after they finish their master's or undergrad course, what all options should they study. And after that, the second segment of this live session is concentrated on the trade courses. Trade courses are something like which are highly valued and highly regarded by a country like Australia, where a lot of population is not just the domestic, people come from outside. It's an immigrant population. So when people come here, of course, to reconstruct Australia, to provide all these trade services, trade people or trade workers are highly valued. So this session is basically based on both of them. So if you are more interested in trade courses, stay in tune, stay in touch with us. In the second segment, we'll be covering that as well. In this session, not only it will be a one-dimensional sort of an information session, it will be a two-dimensional session where you get an opportunity to ask us the question as well. And how would you do that? You can post us all the questions here in the comment section, and we'll try to answer them if the time allows. Otherwise, after that, we'll make sure that once the live session is ended, we personally will go to your, we will try to see your questions and answer them. So without any further delays, let's try and kick off today's session. Guys, first thing, I was just thinking to maybe start with all that sort of courses, which are, because the most of the population I've seen, when they come from different countries, they usually do accounting or IT or engineering courses here in Australia.
Right.
So if they do these courses, if they finish the undergrad or master's course, Shekhar, what do you reckon? Which courses should they be going for?
Sure, Himanshu. See, as you already mentioned that about that, what this live session is all about, like especially for the wet visas, like we can say the wet courses and the expiry of the a student like who is on the 485 basically. So see, apart from that, like I'm just gonna give you a bit information about the masters, like because there are two types of 485 as you mentioned already, right? So especially for those people who have done masters and their 485 is expiring. Right, and expiring. So basically, the people coming from, especially the IT background, or especially you can say the engineering background, or you can say the other backgrounds as well. So usually, especially for the couples who are there, right, and who are on dependent visa. So usually they, looking for some, full work rights. So as we all know that, while someone, the primary applicant will be on the, like doing the masters, then the dependent will have a full work rights basically. So for those people, like after doing that, if they want to do the, masters again in this one, so they especially, let's suppose if someone has did the masters in IT in business, so they can change their basically you can say the specialization,
Right.
like if they have done in business, so they can go to the cybersecurity, and even they can go to artificial intelligence. And there are some many more, like they have software development option, and then they have some networking option, which is very popular these days. But only the one thing that they need to take care of, that while they are doing this, they need to take a credit especially, right? So that there will be no such mismatch, or the same course is going to matching up. So these are the things which is especially for those people who are on 485 and wants to do the masters. So this
Very
is what.
nicely mentioned, Shekhar. I think I would strongly agree with the points that you've made here. That after you finish your your qualification in accounting or engineering or IT, there's still no stopping for you to study any master's course. Like as you mentioned, masters in business is something which is quite that kind of a course which suits a lot of background. So you can definitely and of course, Master of Business is not just limited to one specialization. It
Right.
contains a lot of different specializations that you can select, like marketing, finance, HR. So many specializations that you can go for. So yes, one of course, as you mentioned, MBA is something that someone can go for.
Right.
I also liked one point when you mentioned about masters in IT. So say if you've studied masters in IT, for that matter, software engineering or software development.
Right.
And now if you want to do a cybersecurity, so it's like you can definitely go for masters in IT again,
Right.
specializing in cybersecurity, but you have to make sure that whatever you have studied, if you're applying for a new visa, whatever you have studied, you get the credits for that, so that there's no repetition of the course. So this is
Exactly.
something which you have to keep in mind, and which is where our role comes into picture, that when you're advising something to you, we'll make sure that it's not just the course that of course you want to do, but you should be safe as well when you're applying for something. So of course, like Shikhar, what do you reckon, when it comes to masters in IT, what all specializations like students can go for? Like if you can just name a few.
See, as I mentioned earlier a bit, like you can especially go with like cybersecurity, as I told you, right?
Cybersecurity, right?
And then we have an option of for the bachelors and even for the masters as well. Like
Yeah.
they both can go with like software development, artificial intelligence. They have an option, and another option is networking, especially like a lot of people wants to do the networking, right? And even they do have cloud computing. Cloud computing is also another better option, best option, you can say that. So these are the options. But if the people, basically, apart from the IT, if they want to go with another specializations like from accounting, so they can go with the professional accounting. They can do another as a business. You already mentioned about that. So these are the few courses, I believe, and these are the few specializations basically they want to go with. So that's what it is, I believe. Yeah.
Especially the popular ones, I'm sure. Like so whatever we are discussing right now, of course we cannot, education is so vast, so we
Exactly.
cannot talk about each and every specialization and courses out here. For that, of course, you have to personally reach out to us. And how would you do that? You can of course give us a call, because right now due to pandemic we're not able to meet you in person. We would love to, but we cannot. But you have to give us a call on the number which is mentioned in the description here. And once you basically give us a call, our operator, the receptionist, will direct you to one of the education consultants. Now, without any further delays, and without making Mayur wait so much, I'm sure he must be getting bored, without answering some questions. So I'm going to shoot some questions at you as well. So Mayur, apart from masters, what do you reckon? In the VET, like vocational education and training, which is also called VET, what options does a student have to study in that sector?
Well, Himanshu, as rightly mentioned by Shekhar, a lot of students coming in from the bachelor's or higher ed background, they want to continue their studies and probably get some extra qualifications or some extra knowledge that might help them in their career progression. A lot of our viewers today may be not aware about the Australian quality framework, which is the AQF levels. So a bachelor's is a level 7 degree and a master's is a level 9. So there is, in hindsight, a level between them, which is level 8, which is for all graduate diplomas and graduate certificates. So a lot of students who are probably bachelor's have a very good step in forward going into a higher AQF level or coming down from master's as well, because a lot of students in our industry do not want to commit to a master's degree due to the fees, due to the duration, or due to the attendance, or anything that matters in terms of what they are looking for into particular specializations. So
Right.
few of them that I can touch base on today for our viewers are Graduate Diploma of Management in Learning, Graduate Certificate of Strategic Leadership. These are the two basic degrees that are very much related to people from various big business backgrounds. I mean, someone could be from accounting, someone could be from business or commerce, general specializations.
Right.
The duration of these kind of degrees vary as well. Generally, a certificate can be between 6 to 12 months, while a diploma ranges from about a year to 2 years as well. The other category or other stream that we can touch base on, people who are from IT engineering backgrounds can go for a graduate diploma in IT. That also covers certain specialization and certain criteria that they might want to enhance or go forward within their careers, that helps them out in doing so. Also, there's two things that people need to kind of understand with graduate diplomas and graduate certificates, is that these are two types. One is the wet graduate certificate and graduate diploma, the other one being the higher ed graduate certificate and graduate diplomas. How they are different is that, the wet graduate certificate and diplomas do not give you credit into masters. How the viewers need to understand that, a lot of times that people do bachelor's, they get entry into second year of bachelor's straight away. The same works with the graduate diplomas and certificates. If you're doing it in a higher ed environment, in a higher ed course, that gets you entry into a second year of masters if you're not meeting the eligibility or entry requirement into masters straight away. So that's a very good option and a very good in hindsight to do if you're not getting into there directly. Or you can, of course, enhance your skills via a wet course, which will not give you entry into a master's, but it pretty much subsides what you want to do, the extra subjects you want to learn, the affiliations that you want to get, or something else you want to do in your career that probably progresses you into a different direction. So yeah, these are the kind of options that work around in the graduate diploma, graduate certificate sector, except masters.
Amazing. I mean, I personally agree with you as well that it's not just the masters. You can go for a graduate diploma as well. Say if your purpose is already achieved by studying a master's, and if you want to enhance your skills by not doing a double master or a next master's again, then graduate diploma is something, as Mayur mentioned, can be an option for you. Now, I would also like to highlight that distinction which Mayur, which Mayur mentioned, just for our viewers to reiterate that that a graduate diploma, the distinction between there are two graduate diplomas. One is a graduate diploma in the higher education industry, in the higher education sector.
Right.
And another graduate diploma is in the wet education sector. The higher education sector may turn out to be your first year of masters. So basically, it can be used as a package, with a master's program as well. So it can lead you to masters.
Correct.
And
Exactly.
another graduate diploma, which is in the wet sector, it's not it's not basically leading you to a master's. It can be used as a standalone graduate diploma. And of course, when it comes to comparing both of them, when it comes to fees, there's a vast difference when it comes to both of their fees. Graduate diplomas of higher education is costlier, is more expensive than the graduate diploma of wet. And of course, for higher education, there's one more drawback for higher education's graduate diploma is that you cannot pay the fees in installments. But in graduate diploma of wet, you can obviously pay the fees in installments as well. That's an option for you. When you're going for a a graduate diploma in the wet sector.
Right.
Now, that's good that we covered graduate diploma and masters. Now, let me take you through the other options that you have, which I'm sure a lot of viewers, would want to know as well. That what if they don't want to basically go for masters or graduate diploma or something of that higher level? Can they go for a diploma or advanced diploma course as well? Yes, the answer is yes. It's just that it should be making sense with what you're studying. So say if you studied an MBA, and now if you want to go for to basically study a diploma of business or a advanced diploma of business.
Right.
So in that case, we would not recommend you that, because after you already studied the highest level of a particular stream like business. Now, if you are going for a diploma or advanced diploma in business or management, it's something which we don't personally recommend, that because it will be a repetition of the course. You already studied the highest degree or the highest qualification of a particular field Now, how can you study a diploma or an advanced diploma? It doesn't make sense.
Right, because I believe, well said, Himanshu. I believe a lot of students and, the people are confused, and just it was a very small thing, but they are always confused in few things, that what kind of a, exact course they want to choose, basically. So that's, I believe that you have done very well about,
Absolutely. I mean, there's
taking
no
this point out.
like, you cannot just take it lightly that, no matter whatever you want to study, you can study, or like, you would be able to study.
Right.
It's like, it should be as we, as you mentioned, that it should be making sense with your background. It should make sense with what you want to study, what your aspirations are, what would you benefit from that particular course. So there's a whole, there's so many things or so many factors attached to it. So you cannot take it so lightly to study whatever you want to. This is where our role comes into picture. All the qualified, consultants, we are there to help you to choose the right course in the right college. Based, of course, you can definitely let us know what all factors are, you're considering. Like, if your budget is less, or if you are not meeting the entry requirements, then we can obviously help you out, to let you know, like, what are the other ways, for you to basically meet the entry requirement. Maybe you can study a general English course before you start a course, or maybe, like, if some of the colleges have their own English tests as well, so we can guide you with that too. So yeah, like, so many things, which you might not be aware of, which is where our role comes into picture. Now,
Right.
moving on to like, the entry requirements. Sorry, I forgot to mention about the diplomas and advanced diplomas. So yes, so the diploma, the option that you have to study diploma and advanced diplomas can be in leadership and management, project management, which is leading to a program management. You can study in marketing, so leading to advanced diploma of marketing. You can study advanced diploma of IT, maybe specializing in cybersecurity, game development, software engineering, software development, artificial intelligence, cloud computing. So many different options that you have, to study. Apart from that, you can study something like banking. So banking service management can be one of the options that you can go for. Um, and telecommunications. So these are the options that you can definitely go for. Of course, these are the few that we're talking about, but you have more options to think about, like, to choose from.
Right.
Uh, Now, when it comes to the entry requirements of all of these, maybe I'll just start with Shekhar so that you can let us know the entry requirement of masters. Then we'll move on to Mayur. Shekhar, over to
Sure,
you.
sure. I believe, see, Himanshu, if I talk about the masters first, although it's a session about the wet, but still we are just focusing on a bit of masters as well,
Yes.
because it's just expiry of the people, like expiry of the 485 whose visas are expiring, basically. So the entry of the masters is usually, you can say, the 6.5, not less than 6.
Right.
Usually, right? But it depends on the university as well, and it depends on the college as well.
Yeah.
Right, because some different colleges, like if I talk about some regional area apart from the Victoria, they have a different entry requirements for the different courses, and especially for the specializations. And even some, if I talk about the Melbourne, they have a different entry requirements. But if I talk about the basic requirement, which is 6.5, not less than 6. Anyone, if someone is having, let's suppose, because as you mentioned last time as well, like in just previous conversation, like if someone is having a 0.5 less in some of the each, some of the module, like reading, writing, or speaking, like that one, then some of the colleges having their own, English test to just fulfill this eligibility to get into that admission and get into that particular course. So it's depend on the college to college. So for that one, again, that we come into the picture, and we just let you know that how, take an admission if you have a less score in a particular module and you want to go with that particular college or particular university. So we can help them as well.
Absolutely. So as Shekhar mentioned, that the entry requirement for masters is, when it comes to the English requirement for that matter, is on an average 6.5, no less than 6. But of course, as he mentioned, that it depends on the universities and the institutes as well. So say if you're going for a teaching course, then your entry requirements increases. Then it's
Right.
around 7 or 7.5. But if it's say if it's a master's in project management, so some of the colleges do accept 6 as well. So if so basically it's something like, this is where you have to ask us these queries. So say, just for an instance, in these circumstances, if you don't have a PT score or an IELTS score, because of the pandemic, you're not able to take the test as well, because
Right.
because no dates are available. I'm sure a lot of viewers are struggling with that. So don't worry. All you have to do is give us a call. I am sure we would be having some or the other solutions. Our consultants would be having some or the other solution for you, which of course, is a different topic altogether for us to discuss. So, we can definitely discuss, with you over the phone about that. Uh, Now, if I just ask, you Shekhar, that apart from English requirement, is there any other, entry requirement that the student has to think about, when it comes to going for master's course?
See, for the masters, I believe Himanshu, like first of all, if there some universities are also looking for some percentages, right? You can say CGPAs, right, in the bachelors, and even if someone also wants to change their course as well. Let's suppose some people are changing their courses, so they have to check. Some universities are looking for that, whatever the last semesters and the units that they have passed or not, the minimum unit passed, and there are other requirements as well. So it depends again,
It's a
like
background check for that matter.
exactly background checks always.
Background to be checked. So it can be if you're, say, if you're like, if you, so say, like, if you're going for a prime university where that particular course, has, it requires you to have a certain amount of percentage in your bachelor's.
Right.
Then, of course, it just depends on institutions to
Exactly.
institution. Some of
Exactly.
the universities or colleges might ask you to write an SOP as well. Of
SOPs.
course, we can provide you guidelines to how to do that, but this is where our expertise comes into picture. We can definitely guide you in the right direction with that.
Yes, definitely.
Now moving on to the next segment of this live session. Uh, so as I said, if you have any other questions when it comes to the course that you want to choose, just drop your questions in the comment section, and we'll be happy to answer them after the live session. But now without any further delays, let's move on to the second segment of this live session, which is on the trade course. Now, when it comes to the trade courses, what do you reckon? Which one should we start with? Should we start with carpentry?
I believe yes, you can start with either with the, you can say the construction side, you can start with the engineering side, and either you
Sure.
can start with
I
any
guess
other
that we
section.
can kind of touch base on every
Sure.
category
Yes.
of
So
the.
let's do one thing. Let's tell the viewers about a bit about trade courses. So when it comes to trade courses, I personally like how I look at it is basically it's divided into a few segments, a few segments that you can go for. One segment consists of all the construction trade courses.
Right.
Second
Right.
segment consists of hospitality. So there will be
Right.
some trade courses which will be related to hospitality. Then can be engineering. So apart from that, I think I'm missing out on automotive. So of
Correct.
course, there are other trade courses also that you can go for, but these are the most popular ones that I'm sure people would want to know. So maybe let's starting with carpentry. Shekhar, what do you reckon? What all options do we have in construction? So as I mentioned, carpentry can be the one. So can
Right.
you tell a bit bit more about that?
Sure, sure. Like Himanshu, like the, as you know that like carpentry or either you can say the other things segments are coming to the construction thing, right? And you know that the construction is one of the very popular in Australia always, right? Every and even I believe the construction is the only one in this pandemic, like where the people is having a job, right? And a lot of other people is also wants to join the construction, like in a builder or something
Quite
like
popular,
that.
yeah.
Right, exactly. So if in this particular segment, we have a few, a lot of options available. Like you can start with particular courses, like you can start with certificate 3 in painting, and you can combine that certificate 3 with certificate 4 in building and construction, and either with the diploma as well, right? So that you can combine it and you can put with the 2 years of study basically. And the other courses which is coming up in this construction segment is like you can say with certificate 3 in carpentry if someone wants to be a carpenter, right? And if they can also join this with you can say certificate 4 in building and construction. And the other segment, like if you're going to like certificate 3 in wall and floor tiling, and another one is like bricklaying as well. So these are the things which is coming up in this all the sections, right? And there are few a lot of, even in the Melbourne, like there are other colleges which is providing all these courses in very affordable prices. And even if you want to go with a standalone thing like in painting and other thing, so you have options like Orange International College, which is providing you the straight away 2 years of course in certificate 3 if you don't want to combine with the other courses.
Right.
So these are the very affordable colleges which are, and there are so many more colleges available in this. So
So
this is,
Shikhar, what
I
do you
believe,
reckon?
is
If someone wants to study a trade course like certificate 3 in carpentry, um, can they study that concurrently with along with their masters or bachelors?
yes, definitely. It's a very nice question. I believe a lot of people really want to, hear about all these things. Definitely, if someone is doing the masters and if they want to do the trade course, whether it will be a carpentry or something like that, So definitely they can join with the, you can say, the concurrent, as a concurrent course side by side with the masters, because if they are doing that course, it will be they will be very good for them, right? So they can also join the certificate 3 in carpentry or certificate 3 in painting. They can do that, so it will be very beneficial for them, I believe.
Right. Perfect. I think, yeah, that's pretty much like the information on the construction side of it. You mentioned carpentry, painting, solid plastering, bricklaying, block laying, landscaping,
Yeah,
and
and even
there
you
can
will
be
have
so
tiling as
many of
well.
them. There can be
Yeah.
so many of them. It's an ocean, like, of construction courses. I mean, I actually like, it's been quite a few years for me in the industry, and you have no idea. It's like still after, certain point of time, I just get to know about a new trade course, like, a new construction course. So it's so vast that sometimes the students, like, they get back to us saying like, sir, this is something, we forgot, to tell you that this is
Right.
something, which my brother is doing. So you never know, like, it's so many courses available, in the market that you can choose from.
Exactly.
Now moving on to Mayur now. Mayur, what do you reckon? We've discussed the construction trade courses here.
Yeah.
How, what can you tell us about hospitality trade courses?
So as Shekhar mentioned, Himanshu, for construction trade courses, hospitality also being one of the very prominent sectors in Australia. It's a very wide sector as people have been working in the industry for a very long time. A lot of the students come in with their perceived perceptions that, this industry is difficult to get into, or this is something that will take a lot of time. So that's what we are here for, just guide on and tell them the questions and answer their queries about what this industry is about and what they can do to grow into certain sectors or certain fields if they're interested into. I'll touch base on a few today. So like if people want to start with certificate 3, 4 and diploma, going on into how they want to proceed with professional level qualifications, they can start with certificate 3 of commercial cookery, certificate 3 of patisserie, or certificate 3 of bakery. A lot of people who are interested in becoming bakers, a lot of people who are interested in becoming pastry chefs or pastry makers, a lot of people who are interested in working in a kitchen as a junior chef, junior cooks, they can work out and study these different specializations, which allows them to have the knowledge and understanding of a particular sector of hospitality that could help them get into cafes, could help them get into restaurants or even larger hotel chains. Some people who want to again upskill themselves after doing these kind of certificate 3 specializations can look into going into certificate 4 of commercial cookery. Someone who's already done a certificate 3 in commercial cookery, when combines with a certificate 4 of commercial cookery, can be accredited as a commercial and a professional chef. So a lot of times when you're going into a kitchen looking for senior chef roles or junior chef roles, the employers demand such kind of qualifications, and of course there's some sort of work experience as well which you can possess. A lot of times where students are kind of looking at hospitality as a broader sector, maybe as managers or team leaders, or someone who wants to probably open their own restaurants later in the stage, can look at the diploma and advanced diplomas in the hospitality management that allows them to look at hospitality sector as a broad perspective, about culinary management, people skills, organizational charts, all in all about how they can manage different streams of this kind of sector. In this unprecedented times, of course, we have to touch base on the fact that hospitality has been the most affected out of all the trade courses, but we still have strong hopes that it's been one of the very major sectors and very major industries in the past, and will of course be the one going forward when we go back to COVID normal after everything passes on to. In these certificate threes, a lot of people have to also understand that this requires a 360 hours placement that a lot of colleges assist in the students to get, or if it is given to the responsibility of students to get it themselves, where a lot of people and a lot of students have had queries that, okay, how do I do that? Or how do I end up getting those kind of placements? Well, it really helps that, when you are in that mode, in that scenario where you're meeting people and working around people, you do make friends and you do make relationships that allow you to get into the market. And once you're in that qualification zone, you're able to find work and placements for yourself as well. Well, Melbourne being, or for that matter, Australia being the land of cafes and restaurants, there's a cafe around every corner, every 100 meters. So it becomes a very good option for such people who are looking into going into hospitality industry as a whole.
I think it's very like very sensitively put. I would say, like, that because you understand the matter of the fact, in the today's time when the pandemic has really affected the hospitality industry, and of course, like, but there's no But I'm sure, like, after every, night, there's a morning, so of course you would be having the time, I'm sure the hospitality industry, would be getting back, and the people would not lose their interest when it comes to going in the hospitality industry, because, like, even I have, as per my own experience, like, I have seen people who get into hospitality are very passionate. So,
Right.
about cookery, about, being a chef. So, like,
This.
as you mentioned about, other options as well, because some people don't even know about the options apart from cookery. As you mentioned, that, a culinary is something, which someone can go for, people can go for bakery, and so many options like patisserie. So
Right.
these are the options, like, which students should be knowing when they're choosing something, choosing a course in the hospitality industry, or from, from in the hospitality management side.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so we have mostly covered hospitality and construction. So if I think about other trade courses to move forward, maybe we can start with automotive.
Yes.
Shekhar, I'll come back to you again.
Sure. Why
So
not?
yeah, so just can you tell us a bit about automotive trade courses as well?
Sure, Himanshu. See, automotive again is a very popular course, as like mentioned, like hospitality and the construction. So automotive basically might be a lot of people don't aware about this thing, but definitely we want to tell today that automotive basically has a two different sides. Like one side is a mechanical and the other one is the electrical,
Right.
right? So I believe, see, mechanical and electrical having a different concept altogether. Like a lot of people are interested. See, maximum people basically go to the mechanical side of the
Yeah,
automotive.
motor mechanic. Yeah.
Very less, yes, exactly. So very less people who usually go with the electrical side, because see, if you do the electrical side, if you choose the electrical, you can say the automotive, so you can become a automotive electrician, not the mechanic, basically.
Right.
So it just depends on the interest, but definitely I'll just let you know, and I'll put a light on some few things which is the courses available. Like we do have a same kind of a hierarchy available, like certificate 3, 4 and diplomas as well. Like you can also go with the standalone if you are doing with the masters, like certificate 3 in automotive, that automotive technology, light vehicle, and even you can go with the certificate 4 as well in this. Like basically this is a kind of a 1 year course with a certificate 3, and then you can package with basically certificate 4, and then you can package with the diploma, right? So basically this course is is pretty popular, and the best part of this course is like in Melbourne especially, and even in other states like Adelaide, there are few colleges which is also providing the 360 hours of experience. And because a lot of students were come to us and ask, especially like in hospitality, a lot of colleges who are providing the 360 hours of experience, why not the in automotive they are providing. But you don't have to worry about now, because a lot of colleges which is available, like who's providing you the 360 hours of experience. So these are very popular things, I believe.
I think, yeah, and as you mentioned that about the 360 hour, it's a very critical thing, for the students these
Right.
days. Uh, no, it's quite unfortunate that students, they struggle to find work sometimes, to especially especially while they're studying these courses, because as a part of their 485 visa requirement,
Mhm.
they have to go through a skill assessment, and for
Right.
that skill assessment they need 360 hours of work experience. So for
Right.
that 360 hours of work experience, it's for someone who has, it's not everybody's cup of tea to find work experience. So that initial bit of push when it comes to starting to work in the market, or trying to get into the industry, it's I personally think it's a lot. It depends on which institution you're studying, with.
Exactly.
So we would always prefer you to study with that kind of an institute where who has an education placement team which is quite strong, can place you, has a 360 hours of work experience as a part of their course, which actually gives you that extra, like cushion to
Right.
to basically have that sort of an experience, when you're going forward in the industry, and of course later on, satisfy the requirements of your skill assessment as well.
Exactly.
Also, like a few things, which I would like to mention, that when you're like, so who are those students, who are not willing to go for those 360 hours of experience? Say if someone has been working in this, in the industry. So say if someone comes to us and asks for a certificate 3 in light vehicle mechanical technology,
Right.
and they mention that they already are working in the industry. So they would want to go for a course which doesn't provide them the experience because they already have that. They already have someone to push them, to give them the experience. So of course, we don't want those students to, of course, maybe get too much of experience from from the other place as well, and then not able to concentrate more in their studies, and have a problem. So it just depends upon your interests and your needs, and of course we will be providing you options based on that.
Exactly.
Now moving on to the engineering trade courses. Mayur, I would just like to ask you, what all options do we have in engineering now?
So Himanshu, as mentioned earlier, trades, of course, being a vast sector, there are a lot of options. But today we're going to touch base on the two major ones that are available across Australia. One being telecommunication engineering, which also has come across to be an interest of a lot of students these days, as NBN and all the telecom networks in Australia, like Optus, Telstra, being one of the very prominent market and a very good career perspective for students who are looking to grow in this industry. And the other one, which is related to the construction industry, would be people who want to become welders. So they can look into courses for fabrication, which allow them to have certain skills, certain ideas about what this kind of industry is and how you can become a welder in Australia. So let me just start by going through the telecommunication side of it.
Sure.
So telecommunication has pretty much all the certificates and diplomas available, ranging from certificate 3, 4 to diploma and advanced diploma in telecommunication engineering. There are primarily two colleges in Victoria that are providing this degree and these courses for students who are interested in this sector, one being Milcom Institute and the other one is Imperial College of Australia. So these colleges are providing these services, which allows them to have certain courses in the certificate side or the diplomas and advanced diplomas, any kind of placement or any kind of work experience. So these particular courses also have the idea of mixing theoretical and practical knowledge, which allows students to also come into sections where they can become network engineers, where they can become professional telecom engineers, or they can work on field, or they can work on site as well, if in future that's a kind of role or that's a kind of service they're looking to go into.
A very popular option these days, especially when NBN has a bigger role to play and people are
Correct.
working
Correct.
everything.
Like, how the Australian economy has spent over $1 billion in structuralizing and factualizing this technology,
Right.
which we are so used to now, which was not a thing 5 years ago, has become a major game changer for people who want to get into the industry.
Very well said. I mean, a lot of people are ignoring this fact, like that I actually and you might have noticed this as well. Like very few people inquire about telecommunication courses.
That's
And
true.
It's quite
That's true.
strange.
Exactly.
It's true.
Yeah, sorry.
Although telecommunication is such a vast network, not only in Australia but pan across the globe. I mean, a lot of people who are coming from the subcontinent, from America, from Europe, or any part of the world are pretty much aware about how telecommunication is. All of us are hooked to our smartphones every day, and we pretty much understand how the network works. But when it comes to an industry, yes, people might have the interest, yes, people might have the knowledge, but they do not really know how to proceed with it or how to get into it.
Sorry, because I might forget this question later on. So just to ask you that what do you think when it comes to, because it's intriguing me a lot. So I'm sure it's intriguing a lot of viewers as well.
I'm sure.
So like when it comes to the prerequisites to get into this these sort of courses, can you just highlight that as well?
So general prerequisites for all diplomas, advanced diplomas remain the same. Having if we're talking about international students, having the English requirement of overall 6, no less than 5.5. These are general diploma, advanced diploma requirements for English. The diplomas and advanced diplomas for telecommunication engineering primarily look at people who have done certificate 3 and 4 before. This is something that needs to be kept in mind, that generally you will not be able to go for a diploma directly in telecommunication engineering, because they need you to have those kind of subjects, those kind of knowledge, and those kind of prerequisites met that are covered in a certificate 3 and 4. That's when you're allowed to proceed with the diplomas and advanced diplomas. That's generally
no heartbreaks. No heartbreaks for a lot of viewers.
Heartbreaks for our viewers, I guess.
Are confused, just do reach out to us. We'll definitely guide you in the right direction, because even though if you don't have the certificate 3 or 4, like there might be a foundation course or something. I'm sure like there's a pathway for you to get there.
Like you rightly mentioned, this is how it usually happens. But there are pathways, there are other kind of prerequisites that can be met to get into, say, an advanced diploma of telecommunication, where you can get entry directly. So yeah, that's what we are here for. So that's what we are having this live session today about. If any viewers having a look at this live session today are interested in telecommunication engineering primarily, can always reach out to us, and then we can look at their individual cases and prospects and guide a way further of getting into the industry, which is very vast and very great in terms of all career prospects, which a lot of our viewers and clients can look into if they haven't thought about it. The second one that I earlier mentioned, which is also a very prominent in the engineering side, can be related to the construction trade as well, is the Certificate 3 in Fabrication, which is only offered in in Victoria by Baxter College, that allows people to become welders and allows them to have those certain skills in terms of theoretical knowledge and also the placement side of it, which allows them to get into the industry and work with different construction companies or working sites, or even have their own individual business if they are looking to get into the industry themselves. So I guess these are the few that, or these are the more popular ones that we wanted to touch base today for the engineering trades for all our viewers today.
Perfect. I mean, yeah, we mostly covered all the construction, all the trade courses that we could, the popular ones
pretty much,
that we could cover. Yeah, just to before we end this session, maybe there's something, which our viewers might want to know, which we missed out in the wet sector about the health courses. So right now, even the country, every country, is looking for health professionals. So say if you have a different background, and if you want to get into health now, if you want to give it back to the society, and if you want to do something, when it comes to improving the health of others, it can be normal health, can be mental health. So what all options do we have when it comes to studying health courses here? So maybe I'll start with Shekhar again to know about all the all the courses at the grassroots level first. So maybe starting with certificates.
Sure. And first of all, we are very thankful and grateful for the people who are working in the health services and taking care of all the people in this particular pandemic. And they are the warriors and they are the life saviors basically. Absolutely. For all of us, right? So let's start with the certificate courses, like the basic courses which the people wants to start with, or student can go ahead with. Like, let's suppose we have a few options available. Like if we talk about the certificates, right? We have a certificate 3, we have certificate 4s as well. Like first we'll just look into the certificate 3, which is like we have few options in individual support. Basically, you have different categories available in this individual support. Like you can go with the individual support in aging, and again you can go you can go with the aged care as well. And even in that one, we have a subsection like you can go with the disability. Absolutely. Especially in individual support, right? And especially another one is like you have another option which is like certificate 3, which is very popular these days. It's pathology. Like a lot of people usually go with this one, which is coming from the science background. Basically, right? And even you can also package these courses with the other things as well, like diplomas and other things. And with all these courses basically are very affordable, and we have a lot of colleges which is providing all these courses. Like if I name few, which is like SCIs, which is known as Southern Cross Education Institute, which is very popular amongst all of the students. Another one is ALG, which is Australian language learning group, you can say. Another one is JTI, Job Training Institute, and many more as well. So these colleges are very affordable, and the length of these courses are like, let's suppose if I talk about certificate 3 in individual supports, it's a 6 months courses, short-term courses available, and even it goes to the 1 year as well. So these are the few popular courses in very affordable prices in these particular colleges are available, who are coming from the background of the nursing or like other things, or the other health services or the science background. They can go with all these things.
And I'm sure these are quite short and affordable to to study as well. So exactly. I think not more. Exactly. I think somewhere around 6 months. These courses are for, not more than that.
Right. Because see, like if the people are looking some jobs or doing the jobs in aged care, disability. So a lot of people, a lot of companies, organization, they ask for some certificates and all. So they can easily get into these courses, and they can can be well qualified person to work in this particular field. So this is very beneficial for all the students, you can say.
Yeah, and not just these kind of courses, just to extend your the information further. So not just they're providing you the theory aspects in this course, they're providing you practical experience as well. So say if you're
Right.
going for certificate 3 in individual support, specializing in aging and disability, they provide you somewhere around 160 hours of work experience for you to get trained to work in the actual market, in the actual
Exactly.
aged care eventually. So that practical hands-on experience is something which can be necessary, because you're not only playing with the lives of others, you are putting your life at the risk as well,
Exactly.
in this situation. So to be a hero, you have to feel like a hero, and you have to learn first those skills, and then of course try to perform there in
Right.
the market. Otherwise, it can just go wrong for
Exactly.
both of them, for both of you. Yeah, now moving on to Mayur, just like as Shekhar mentioned about certificate, what do you
Mhm.
think, the next level of that, the progression of certificate leading to diploma or advanced diploma? So what options do we have there?
Well, as Shekhar rightly mentioned, Himanshu, these are the stepping stones towards someone who's coming from probably a healthcare background, or someone who's not from the background but wants to build into the healthcare sector as well. Chooses these certain specialization in certificates and then goes to the higher side of the courses, which is diplomas and advanced diplomas. So the diplomas that are available in the health sector range within the same kind of category. Could be community service, mental health, could be also diplomas of nursing for that matter, which is also a very prominent course at this point of time, where people are looking to become enrolled nurse and probably going to becoming registered nurses later at the stage. These diplomas can also be matched with bachelors as well. So people can end up doing bachelors of community service or bachelor of early childhood care if they are wishing to progress into more professional and more profound courses. But
Right.
as we are touching base on diplomas as well only today, so that's what I'll be discussing. So diplomas as well gives people the mix of hands-on training and kind of practical knowledge and theoretical knowledge about what they're looking to go into community service, or if they're looking to go into mental health, where they're especially working with mental health affected people, or mental health working as mental health workers who are going into maybe childcare protection or going into aged care management, because this is something that can be affected from different range or vast variety of age groups. It doesn't really matter who it is happening to. The colleges that offer these kind of diplomas would be pretty similar to the ones mentioned by Shekhar, which is the ALG Australia Learning Group, SCI, one of the prominent colleges, which is Southern Cross Institute
Education Institute.
and Education Institute, and the other one being JTI, which is the Job Training Institute. All these offer these diplomas, which are the stepping stones after the certificates. One thing that I would also like to mention to our viewers today is that there is a chance that you can get into these diplomas directly if you are a healthcare professional, say before. If you're working in the industry, if you had the right English score. Generally English score and requirements for diplomas range from overall 6, no less than 5.5. That's the general requirement for health courses, except nursing. As it's probably mentioned and it's been advised a lot of times, nursing is the only diploma in healthcare sector, I would say, that requires a 7 each score in IELTS, PT, TOEFL, whatever they are looking to give equivalent to IELTS. Mostly in these healthcare sectors, people have the ability to, of course, give back to the society, work into a different career, and work out a pathway where they can support the Australian system and work out in the healthcare sector, which is a prominent sector now and probably will be for the coming few years, which with such kind of pandemics or such kind of any major calamity that might happen in future. So if people are looking to develop a certain niche skill and probably, of course, give back to the society and have it going as a career, I guess these are the very good options in health sector that people can touch base on, being both certificates and diplomas.
Perfect. I think we mostly covered, whatever the topics that we wanted to cover in this live session. So
Of
thank you
course.
so much, guys, for your words of wisdom, coming from, qualified education agents, QEACs. And yeah, I would like to, basically ask all the viewers to, to basically ask as many questions as you want. So basically 2 ways you can, go on asking the questions, which I can mention right now is, of course, first is just put in all your questions in the comment section. And as I mentioned, we are happy to come back to you, by replying to those comments. And of course, reaching out to you if you reach out to us over the phone as well. So yeah, so or else you can, leave us a message on our Facebook page, or of
Right.
course, different avenues you can use. So yeah, thank you so much, guys, for joining us for this live session, and take care, stay safe,